Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. If you just let me know if you can hear me, that'd be excellent. Come on, Zaid, can you lower the volume? Are you able to hear me okay? Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah wa kafa. والصلاة والسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى خاتم الأنبياء محمد المصطفى وعلى آله وأصحابه والأتقياء والأصفياء أما بعد. قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في القرآن الكريم وكتابه العزيز والحكيم ولنبلونكم بشيء من الخوف والجوع ونقص من الأموال والأنفس والثمرات وبشر الصابرين. صدق الله العظيم. My dear brothers and sisters, I'm very happy to join you again this Jumu'ah. As I used to a few years back address what I felt was comfortable or appropriate for the community. And what I mean by what I used to a few years back is I would often come preparing with something, and then something would happen before arriving, and that would change what I wanted to speak on. And that actually happened again. So it sort of brings back memories in that regard. I was I was teaching, and I teach in the mornings online for my school, and I had just completed my last class. So I have 5 or 6 classes I teach in the morning. I just finished my last class, and I was gonna just get the kids lunch. And my aunt from India, she messaged me, and so I'm like, "Oh, if you're free, we'll talk." And so she said, "I am free," and it was late for her, but she still. My mom's sister said that she would talk, and we were speaking. And one of the most amazing things happened. She was asking how are things going, what's going on with the coronavirus and COVID-19 in America, and I was asking how is it over there. And as I was asking her, my 3 young ones, they were crying because they're really hungry. So I had the phone in one hand. I'm trying to get things ready with the other hand, and I'm trying to make all this work. And she said something that was so profound. She said that, Alhamdulillah, we have it good over here. But the poor, we have more people. It seems like more people are now dying out of starvation than they are from the actual COVID-19. And she was saying that, and then when she told me this, and I'm trying to prepare food, and what was funny is because I was looking through like the fridge and the cabinets, like not what should I serve the kids? What can I could have served a lot. There's a lot there. We're stocked, alhamdulillah, by Allah's tawfiq. But what should I serve them? What would and they're dying of poverty, dying of starvation. And after she told me, I looked online, and yeah, there was a farmer who recently committed suicide because he couldn't find laborers for his crops, and his crops are going to waste. Uh, People on the streets who are poor, they have no way to earn money. They're dying, and a lot of people are not going out, so they can't even give anything to the poor. And he said, Alhamdulillah, some Muslims are now giving zakah early, which there's no such thing as early zakah. I mean, there is in some ways, but I mean, like a lot of Muslims, for some reason, they wait till Ramadan, but that's not when we give zakah. We give zakah when it's due upon ourselves. And when I was listening to her, I just felt like such a jerk, like such a fool, and such an ingrate that I was trying to figure out what to feed the kids for what they would enjoy while people are starving all across the world. And Coach Ibrahim, brother Ibrahim Abdullah, he was telling us that as a firefighter, he often finds now that people are taking their lives due to depression, suicide, etc. So this situation that we're under, it's much worse than merely a virus or whatever it is. It's much worse than that. What actually it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is testing humanity in a way where we have now become each other's test. وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ, verily without a doubt we will test you. How will Allah Ta'ala test us? وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ, with something, a portion, مِنَ الْجُوعِ, from hunger. Now, someone might say, I'm not hungry, so I'm not being tested. But when we see the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, when he spoke about when Allah Ta'ala on the day of judgment says that I was sick, why didn't you visit me? The person says, oh Allah, how am I to visit you? You're the Lord of all the worlds. How are you going to fall sick? It doesn't make sense. But Allah said, my slave was sick. If you had visited my servant, you would have found me there. I was hungry, you did not feed me. Oh Allah, how am I to feed you? You're the Lord of all the worlds. And Allah Ta'ala establishes what? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala establishes what? And the hadith that verily that my slave, my servant was sick, was hungry, and if you had brought him food, you would have found me there. You want to go, Uthman?
No.
Go, Uthman.
What's that?
That's Anas.
What's that?
That's Anas. Okay, go, Uthman. Okay?
No.
Uthman, don't make it hard for me, okay? If he comes to you, he comes to you. If not, just leave it. Okay? And so now, so there is this reality that the one who's sick is being tested, but the one who is seeking Allah, that one is also being tested because he or she has to figure out, where will I find Allah? The one who is hungry, that individual is being tested, but the one who's seeking Allah in their while being satiated, they also have to figure out where can they find Allah. They're being tested to find Him. So an individual is tested. That individual has to when the world is tested, the individual has to recognize that the war in Syria is not everyone's test by being in battle, but it is everyone's test to see how they'll support them. Are we making dua for them? Are we sending money to them? The crisis in India is the test of those who are being removed from their homes and having their citizenship stripped from them. But it's also the test for those of us who are sitting comfortably over here. For me as an Indo-Pak, but that's a test for me. Will I look at my ethnic ties only, or will I look at my religious and my human ties as well, looking at what they're undergoing? And so everyone is tested by everyone. I'm tested by him right now. Am I going to get upset with him? And he's tested by me right now. How am I going to respond? We're always and constantly being tested by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah will test us. So now that we're being tested, we have to begin to see, how are we going to respond? Are we going to be hoarders, or are we going to be those who share? Are we going to be those um, um, who hold back what we have? Or are we going to be those who give what we have? And this is an important reality in today's day. Why? People are going to stock up their fridges, stock up their cabinets, etc. When Muslims were in a time of hardship and they were finally getting some fruits of their labor, and finally a little amount of wealth was coming in, and they were getting some ease by the season in which they were in, the Muslims were tested with Tabuk. And when they were tested with Tabuk, let's see how the greatest of the Sahaba responded to Tabuk. Say, can you make sure he doesn't go upstairs to Mama? Yeah, that's where he's going. Don't let him go upstairs. How were they tested? Abu Bakr radiallahu anh, what was his response? He gave all of his wealth. In a time, it was difficult. They did not yet have the opening. So they had gone through difficulty. Umar radiallahu anh gives half of his wealth. Uthman radiallahu anh arms 600 riders and gives so many hundreds of the gold coins to the Muslims, to the Prophet ﷺ. The way they responded to difficulty. And if you look at Tabuk, the way Allah Ta'ala speaks about Tabuk, how is that time spoken about? It's a difficult time. The way it's spoken about within Hadith, the Prophet speaks about, it's a difficult time. The heat, the pressure facing the Roman Empire, all it's difficult. But the Muslims, how did they respond? By giving from themselves. So I wanted to speak about preparing for Ramadan, but now rather what I want to speak about is, one of the things we learned from Hadith is that charity, it removes difficulty. Charity removes ibtila. Charity removes hardship, it removes tests. And so I want us to think, how have we been giving charity? What was the way that we're giving charity? I wish all of us, what we do is that we go to the stores and we say, okay, my normal budget is that I spend, I don't know how much, but I'm saying if a person says, my normal budget, I spend $100 in food. Now look and say, this is the month of Ramadan, and in the month of Ramadan, we don't need to eat that much. See, this is not the time where we have to go get the extra samosas and the extra pakoras and the extra falafel and the extra, I don't know, a spinning kapara. Or you don't have to get the extra any of. This is not time for extra. I'm not saying don't support our company. I'm saying go ahead and do that. But if you're going to get a certain amount, go and say, fine, 2/3 for my family, 1/3 for the poor. 3/4 for my family, 1/4 for the poor. You decide the amount. So that way we're still supporting the businesses. And so what I'll do is I'm going to go and take this food, and I'm going to get 3 cartons of eggs, 2 cartons of eggs for my family, 1 carton of eggs for someone. Ask the people of Ma'ruf, ask the people of the masajid. Drive around and see who you see. You can wear a mask, you can wear gloves, you worry about social distancing. No problem with that. We should follow laws. But go give it to people. Or say, okay, normally I spend $100 on, for example, on groceries. I'm going to take 25%. So I'm only going to spend $75 worth because I don't need to eat that much in Ramadan anyway. And the $25 I'm going to go home and go on one of those Islamic Relief Worldwide or Helping Hand or any of the other organizations and give now from that amount to those individuals. It will add up. And Rasul, and don't stop and think, oh, this person on the side of the road, what will they use it for? There's a beautiful narration in Sahih al-Bukhari where Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu mentions that and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam قال, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mentioned, قال رجلا, that a man said, لا أتصدقن, that verily I'm going to give charity bi sadaqatin, with a portion of charity. Now when I give this charity, he decided, he went out to give the charity. فَوَضَعَهَا فِي يَدِ سَارِقٍ, he gave it at night to a person who he wanted to give it in such a hidden manner that no one would see who gave it. So he gave it at night. He found a person, he gave it to that person. He didn't recognize, but he gave it to a thief. When he gave it to the thief, فَأَصْبَحُوا, one day everyone woke up in the morning. What did he find? That people were talking. It's a haddathuna. What were they speaking about? تصدق على سارق, that sadaqah was given, or تصدق على سارق, that sadaqah was given to a thief. So the man thought to himself, فقال, so he said, Allahumma laka alhamd. Oh Allah, to use all praise, what did I do? So then he thought to himself, okay, you know what? I'm going to go out again. لأتصدقن بصدقة. I'm going to give sadaqah again. فوضعها في يد, and he gave it to the hand. To whose hand? في يديه, in the hands of what? A zania. In this case, it means a woman who's a prostitute, who services men and takes money for it. And when she did this, he did not recognize who he gave it to. But when he gave it to them, shh, okay, stick, that's fine, it's quiet, okay? فَأَصْبَحُوا, the morning he woke up, يَتَحَدَّثُونَ, people were talking. Why? تصدق تصدق الليلة, at night something happened. Sadaqah was given to whom? على زانية, towards a zania, towards a prostitute. So a person went home, فقال اللهم لك الحمد على زانية, that I gave charity to a prostitute. لو تصدقن بصدقة, I'm going to give sadaqah. And he's trying to be sincere. فخرج, and he goes out at night بصدقة, to give some sadaqah. فوضعها في يد غني, in the hands في يدي غني, in the hands of a wealthy person. Not again, it's at night, he's trying to do it hidden, doesn't know who he's giving it to. And when he does this, what happens? He goes and فأصبحوا يتحدثون, people are talking again in the morning. Uh, تصدق, let me see what it says. تصدق على غني, that someone gave charity to a wealthy person. فقال اللهم لك الحمد, oh Allah, praise be to you. And he's just so disappointed in himself. And think how often we think things like this. The opposite though. We go see someone in the corner, oh, they might use it for drugs. And this is shaitan. Shaitan, they might use it. We don't say they might use it for drugs. Here's $10. Let me go find someone else and drive another 20 minutes to find someone else. No, they might use it for drugs. We keep it in our pocket and then we end up spending it on ourselves. It's a shaitan. We just assume. But now look how this hadith ends. فَأُوتِيَ فَقَلِيلٌ فَأُوتِيَ فَقِيل. At night, in a dream, a voice came to him and said, فَقِيل, it was said to him, له أما صدقتك على سارق, As for your charity to the sadiq, the one who is a thief, um, فَلَعَلَّهُ أَن يَسْتَعِفَّ عَنْ سَرِقَتِهِ. Perhaps this will cause that person to now to be free from the need of stealing. وَأَمَّا الزَّانِيَةُ, and as for the woman who did what she did, فَلَعَلَّهَا أَن يَسْتَعِفَّ عَنْ زِنَاهَا. That maybe it'll give her iffa, maybe it'll give him freedom and removal and ease. Like it's not just stop the person. When they say stop, it gives them ease because they're going through a burden. Ta'fif over here. They go through ease. It's a relief of difficulty. يستعف عن سرقته يستعف عن زناها. That removes from them that need to do this. وأما الغني, and as for the one who's a wealthy person, فلعله يعتبر فينفق مما أعطاه الله. See, here it doesn't say ta'fif because there's no ta'fif over here. Rather, what does it say? That maybe it'll give the person ibra. It'll give the person what? A lesson. In what? And that person will then spend مما أعطاه الله, from what Allah gave the person. We don't earn this on our own. Allah gives it to us. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu anfiqu mimma razaqnakum. Oh, you believe, spend from what we gave you. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu anfiqu min tayyibati ma kasabtum wa mimma akhrajna lakum min al-ard. From what you earn, the good things. Not the, oh, this is a tattered shirt, so I'm just going to give it away in charity now. Blessed are those individuals who, if they have the wealth and they buy themselves a shirt, they go and they buy an extra shirt and give it to someone else away. And blessed are those who don't, but they take the old shirt, they make sure there's no holes, they stitch everything up, they wash it, they scent it, and they give that away as well. They're at least trying. So we should see, how can I help those people? $100 in groceries, 75 to the family, 25 to the public, whoever needs it. We're eating out today, $50 spent in eating out, fine. I'm gonna go home when one of those commercials pop up of people in need overseas on YouTube. I'm gonna click right away and give half the amount I spent on whatever it is, the eating out the food for someone else, on someone else. We have to fund people. We have to fund people. We have to now subsequently give them from what we earn, from what we have, because Allah says, "Anfiqu min tayyibati ma kasabtum, anfiqu mimma razaqnakum." This is not ours. This is Allah's, and this is the litmus test. This is the litmus test. How will we respond? And the Prophet ﷺ, he mentioned, Subhanallah, very beautifully. The Prophet ﷺ has articulated about what happens to a person who aids people in need on the Day of Judgment. Because Abu Hurairah, he mentioned that Rasulullah says that whoever removes like a karb, like a difficulty from one of Allah's slaves, Allah will remove the difficulty from that person on the Day of Judgment. And whoever removes someone goes through difficulty, that Allah Ta'ala will remove that from that person on the day when the people face difficulties. So this is what we have to do. It is unacceptable that people are dying out of starvation at this time. It's unacceptable. We are at home, we're sitting comfortably, we're eating comfortably, we're sleeping comfortably in a time of crisis. Rasulullah ﷺ said, "Al-Muslimu akhul Muslim." That the believer is the brother of a believer. In another narration, the believer is the brother of, how does the narration go? Man salim al muslimun, whom other believers are safe. In another narration, man salim al nas. That's also sound narration. This one says the brother of a believer, that he does not oppress his brother, and he does not how does it go? He should not give the turn his brother over to shaitan. Now people might say, I'm not turning my brother over to shaitan. The Rasulullah ﷺ said that perchance that poverty will drive a person towards disbelief. Because people engage in these activities when the ta'fif occurs, when difficulty is lifted. What is the mafhum over here? The mafhum mukhalafah is they were undergoing difficulty that had to be lifted at that point. Man kana fi hajati akhihi kana Allah fi hajati. That whoever is in the service of the need of his brother, Allah will serve that person in time of need. وَمَنْ فَرَجَ عَنْ مُسْلِمٍ, and whoever removes from a believer what? a difficulty, kurbatan min kurab dunya, or man nafasa an mu'minin kuraba min kurab dunya, nafasahu Allahu anhu kurbatan min kurbi yawm al-qiyamah. Or another narration, farajallahu anhu bihak kurbatan min kurbi yawm al-qiyamah. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will remove the hardship and difficulty on that day. And whoever veils a believer, Allah will veil the believer on the day of judgment. So this is how we should look at it. Give, reduce for ourselves. Make this a Ramadan to remember. Remember it through hunger. Remember it through actual struggle. Not the struggle, I can't go outside, it's not fair. The struggle of I'm giving from myself for the sake of others. Make that this Ramadan. Make that this Ramadan. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then uh, Allah subhanahu, and then I'm out of time, so I'm trying to think if I should even go through this now. Anyway, I've said what I had to say. And I'm not saying anything about anyone in particular. Zayasman, someone's at the door. Can you check, please? Our responsibility at this point is to give for Allah's sake, to help for Allah's sake, and to recognize that this will be our time. The world, meaning on the day of judgment, will give it, put it in there. We'll look at how we responded. The one who starves to death, do not doubt Allah will make that person satiated and happy in Jannah. The one who freezes to death, do not doubt that Allah will make that person warm and comfortable in Jannah. Whoever dies of this disease, they believe they died shaheed, don't doubt that Allah will give them reward in paradise. Look at us. What will happen to us? How can we sit knowing that someone is hungry? That people are dying out of this. The non-Muslims are setting up shelters. People who have extra properties, who normally Airbnbs, they're giving it for people to live in. People are setting up food pantries outside their home, just at the edge of their driveway on the sidewalk. They're just putting tables with boxes of different goods with signs saying "Take." We have to do something as well because we are from the people of the Prophet ﷺ, from his ummah. And our Prophet would have done this. And our Prophet did do this. To the extent he got a new shirt one day, and one Sahabi wanted it. He barely wore it. The Sahabi saw it and he took it off. And the Sahabi, after the Prophet, just took it off and gave it to him. So we ask Allah Tawfiq to be amongst those who give such that our left hand doesn't know what our right hand's giving, not only because of the secrecy, but because of the amount and the freedom of giving. And we ask Allah Ta'ala that we always are amongst those who ease the difficulties of others and ease our difficulty in both this world and the hereafter. Wa akhiru da'wan alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. There are some programs that are occurring in the masjid this weekend. Tonight, there's a program at 7 p.m. It's titled Ultimate Love, Rasulullah's Night of Tears. By Ustad Faisal, one powerful ayah was revealed in this special night, causing the Messenger of Allah to spend the entire night in tears in deep reflection and love for Allah. Discover how to enter this blissful state. Tomorrow night, I will be hosting or holding it tonight, 7 p.m. Tomorrow night at 6 p.m., entering Ramadan in a spiritual high. And we're going to cover this is going to be a bit of a different Ramadan. So, how to, in terms of fiqh, but more importantly, spirituality and practically, how to tackle this Ramadan. And then Sunday night, that's tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Sunday night at 6 p.m., there's going to be exciting kids Ramadan fun and prep. Dr. Al he and I guess his children, 'cause I don't think anyone's going to come to his house to do this, join this fun and exciting program featuring kids, cool demonstrations, and engaging reminder on how to make the most of this Ramadan with your kids, for families and kids age 13 and up. Sorry, up to age 13 for Sunday. Tomorrow night's going to be a bit more adult oriented, but kids can join. Tonight's for everyone. سبحان الله بحمده سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد ان لا اله الا انت نستغفرك ونتوب اليك واخر دعوانا الحمد لله